Okay, so we were talking about my depression. Um, so it started out with me being tired all the time, like aggressively tired. I couldn't sleep, or no, I was sleeping fine. I take something to help me sleep, and it was knocking me out, but then I was waking up, halfway through the night and tossing and turning. And I was so tired that I was drinking an obscene amount of caffeine. Nothing was working. And so I kept seeing my doctor for a variety of different tests, and he said, well, this is normal, this is regular, this is normal. Your iron is low. And I had realized that upon changing my supplements, I wasn't taking as much. So I said, oh, it must be my iron. So I got my iron up. I went back for more blood tests, and he said, no, your iron is increasing. You should feel fine. Your vitamin B's are good. Is it your mood? I'm like, I really don't think so. I don't think it's my mood. Like, I feel okay. So we went on more tests, came back, this is normal, is it your mood? You know what, I really don't think it's my mood. So I got home, and I thought, what if it is my mood? Maybe this is how it manifests now. I didn't like red wine before surgery. I didn't like cucumber before surgery. I didn't like to work out before surgery. So now I'm different. And so maybe my anxiety and my depression is different now. So I was taking a weird dosage of my anxiety depression meds because after surgery we were trying to find the dose that worked, and so I was taking 150 milligram capsule and then like 370 or 37.5 milligram capsules because we were increasing it slowly. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to add another one of these in. My doctor and I have a fairly good working relationship, and he trusts me to kind of play with things and see what works, because I've been dealing with this for almost 20 years. So I added one in, and I started to feel better. So I'm like, okay. And then I didn't feel better. So the maximum dosage of this medication is 300 milligrams. And so when I added that additional 37.5, I was at the maximum dosage. But I said, you know what? It's an antidepressant. It's not a painkiller. I'm not going to get addicted. I'm not going to OD if I go above the recommended dosage, especially since it's probably an absorption issue anyway. So I added another one in, and I felt better until I didn't. And I said, yeah, it's my mood. It turns out he was right all along. So I went to see him, and we set the medication at 300 milligrams, and we increased my nighttime, and he said, watch it for a couple of weeks and come back. Okay. I'm aware that it takes 4 to 6 weeks for any new medication of the mental health variety to really kick in, and not so much kick in, but level you out, to find that medium, to know how you are going to respond on a consistent basis. So we tried it for a couple of weeks, and I had more bad days than good. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to work. I remember one morning, so I work from home a lot of the time. Unless I have to go out and meet a client, I work from home, or unless my boss needs me to come into the office, I work from home. And so I remember getting up one day late, as always, and sitting at my desk and just staring at the wall, probably for the better part of 45 minutes. Not fiddling on my phone, not reading a book, not listening to music, not anything. My computer was on, but it was in screensaver mode. And I just sat there, and I don't even know, I don't even remember what I thought about. I couldn't function as a person. So, Corey, my soon-to-be husband, has never seen me in my consistently depressed state. He is aware of my history and how long I struggled, and I didn't struggle for a long time without medication. I'm not that person. I'm not that person who is embarrassed by mental illness and who won't go to the doctor, or who won't go to counseling, or who won't take meds. That's not me. If you can give me a pill to make my life better, I'm going to take it every time. My struggle was finding what worked, finding the medication that worked, finding the combinations that worked, finding a therapist that I could trust, and in a discipline that would work, because there's all kinds of psychological disciplines out there. I didn't respond to a lot of them. I have a psychology background, so I'm aware of what the purpose of operant conditioning is, and I know what cognitive behavioral therapy does, and those what it's intended to do, and I just didn't respond to that. So my struggle from the age of 19, 20 until I would say my late 20s, maybe like mid to late 20s, 25, 26, 27, was this struggle. And it came and went. I don't know if you know anything about finding medications. At that time, nearly 20 years ago, and to this day, there's even more medications on the market. But at that time, they had all different kinds of medications that were targeting all different kinds of things. It was the DSM-4, and so a lot of diagnoses were, they weren't there yet. And you have to wait 4 to 6 weeks until you see what's going to happen, and then you have to increase it, and then when it stops working, you increase, and then when it stops working, you increase, and then when you hit your maximum dose, you add something else on top of it, and that goes in that cycle. And then when you get to the maximum dose of this combination of medications, and it's only working until it doesn't, then you have to wean yourself off of it slowly, and then you start again. And so I did that with several different types of medications. It was very, very hard, and Corey wasn't around in my life at that time. He has seen me since, when I've had a pretty good medication regime. I haven't been in regular counseling because I didn't see the need. I had done my counseling, and it was mostly keeping getting my chemicals balanced now. That's my maintenance phase. And yeah, I had a rough day here and there, or maybe even a rough couple of days, or I've been bitchy or short with him for no reason, and he knows that that's what happens. He knows that that's a byproduct of my disease, and that's it. He's known to deal with it, and he's wonderful. He hasn't seen me down and out for a consistent period of time. So this is new for him. And I had to tell him what to expect. I had to tell him, I'm sharing my life with him. I didn't have that issue before where I had to share what was going on in my life because I wasn't accountable to anybody else. I had my roommates, I had my family, I lived with my sister, but we didn't talk about it. And so now I'm accountable to somebody. I have somebody who is in a constant state of worry over my mental state, and he wants to know what I'm feeling, when I'm feeling it. He wants to be involved. And so I had to tell him, and that was hard. That was hard to put into words what I felt and how my body felt and how my mind felt, and going back to when I struggled, and this is what you might experience. This is what I went through in the past, so this could be what you could experience now. So we had that conversation, and he's been lovely, very supportive, very worried. He doesn't tell me how much he worries. He's always careful to say, "Did you take your meds today?" Because he knows that's a trigger. He's just the best. So I had more bad days than good. I went back to the doctor. They added in something else to take during the day, which has helped. I've been taking this new medication with the maximum dosage of my old medication for 3 weeks, I think, maybe. I can't remember if I went before Christmas or after Christmas. I think it might have been after Christmas, but still in December. So it's like the end of January now, so I'm going on 3-4 weeks. I immediately saw a difference in the first couple of days with regards to my mood and being able to get out of bed and being able to function and feeling more motivated. The issue now is that I'm struggling with my sleep. So I can get to sleep quite quickly with the help of the medication that I take at night. But I can't stay asleep. I'm assuming that is related to the new medication. And it has gotten, like, the first week or two was really terrible. Like, I was waking up 2:30, 3 o'clock every night. And yeah, it was just awful. And now it's not so bad. I'm still fairly tired, but I know that like I said, it takes 4 to 6 weeks to for your body to know how it's going to react and settle in. Sorry. So I've been living with that. Looks like it's gotten better. as it relates to bariatric surgery, and I will let other people know about the information that I gathered from the pharmacist with regards to medication. Vitamins and minerals and medications are not absorbed in your stomach. They are absorbed in your intestine. And so as they flow through your small and large intestine, that's where the absorption comes in. Through bypass, and not so much the sleeve, but bypass, they take out 100 centimeters of your intestine. They cut it off and bring it up to the new stomach. So there's 100 centimeters less of absorption. So and then if you're having dumping syndrome all the time, you're pushing things through your system much faster, which will decrease the absorption rate again. So it definitely is an absorption issue. You're not getting the amount of minerals and the amount of medication that you would prior to surgery because you have less intestine to absorb it through. So keep that in mind, folks, when you're taking medication that, whether it be for diabetes or blood pressure, cholesterol, mental health, back pain, whatever you're taking medication for, the absorption rate is different with bypass because you don't have as much intestine. So that was an eye-opener for me. But I'm feeling better. I'm still very tired. This whole, oh my God, I have so much energy after surgery, after I lost 100 pounds. Yeah, I don't have that. I'm so tired all the time. I force myself to go to the gym. I force myself to work, but I'm pretty pooped at the end of the day. Right now I'm tired because I'm still healing up from a cold that I got a week and a half ago that just won't go away. So maybe that's related. But we'll see. I'm sorry I keep yawning. What else? As you can see, my skin broke out. I got this new moisturizer at a trade show that I was at in November at Christmas time, and it seemed really well, and it made my skin break out, and my skin has been breaking out ever since. Although, acne could be below the skin for 6 weeks before it pops up, so I'm hoping that this is gonna clue itself up now. But my skin is very dry. Maybe it's related to not getting enough water, I'm not sure. But I feel like I'm getting enough water.